Ah, what a lovely day. Oh, for God's sake. Hello, Rob. What do you want?
Hey, Pete! We're gonna review an Ernest movie!
We're not reviewing an Ernest film, Rob.
They say a crossover can only happen on a random Thursday in August.
Like today.
When a Venom
Like you.
makes a phone call to a PT like this and says, "Thou shalt review Ernest." But what are the chances of that happening?
Rob, no, I'm a grown man. I'm not reviewing a fucking Ernest film. No.
Lots of the man named u4o. Ernest u4o. Even as a lad, he was sensitive and caring, as cunning as a fox and as slippery as a herring.
Well, he went to camp.
Then he saved Christmas.
Then I skipped one because of Halloween, but before he was scared stupid,
He went to jail.
in 1989, after finishing Ernest Saves Christmas, they planned on shooting 2 more films back to back. One idea was Ernest in the Cave of the Voodoo King, or the Voodoo Curse, it's unclear which is a dumb parody of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Another was Ernest Spaced Out, which would have been a Lost in Space epic. It is believed that this script ended up being retweaked into 1997's Rocket Man, as many critics at the time claimed it felt like an Ernest movie. But nothing was confirmed or denied from the writers.
This is great. I don't believe it.
A third idea was a film parodying Tim Burton's Batman called Ernest and the Bold Crusader, which would have been about Ernest becoming an exterminator and ended up in the Batcave while the Crusader is on holiday. And well, basically he took over the cave.
I want to see that!
I know, but I get discouraged.
At this point, several scripts were just passed around the studio, and sometimes they were simply turned into an Ernest movie. Others, the creators of Ernest, actually turned them down and they would end up being made as their own film anyway. One of these was Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Wow.
However, in 1989, Lockup was a big hit, so Disney decided to go for a jail escape movie instead.
The movie that some do consider the best of the bunch, Ernest Goes to Jail, was a big film in the first 4 before the series began to drop in quality.
Filming began in Nashville, Tennessee on September the 25th, 1989, and it spanned until November the 15th that same year, mostly using sets and not real locations.
It did make a profit. On a budget of $9 million, it earned over $25 million back, but reviews were relatively mixed.
Die-hard fans of the Ernest films loved it and thought it was one of the best.
But sad old gits who didn't really get the humour felt it was just catered towards kids and no self-respecting adult would actually enjoy it. How wrong they were.
Know what I mean?
I've always loved the opening credits to these films. They're always so creative and fun to watch.
I fucking love this intro. The faces Jim Varney pulls, the silhouettes of him running, the song, just everything. I love it so fucking much. Oh, Rob. Can we stop the review now before we say something horrible about Ernest?
Oh, come on, PT. We should review it completely or not at all.
Very well then. Not at all!
We should probably carry on.
Yeah, Chuck and Bobby are back in this one. Yeah! I gotta admit that they're my favourites. I love them so much, especially Bobby. In this one, they're security guards that work in a bank, and they find Ernest. He cleans the place, and even though they know it's him, Bobby still points a gun at him the entire time.
Do you realize you could have caused a serious accident here, perhaps even a bloodbath?
I don't see Alec Baldwin anywhere.
Oh, no, there he is!
I don't remember him having all that gristle in his teeth.
He's lost a lot of hair, hasn't he?
Ernest dreams of becoming a bank clerk, and we get plenty of the stupid slapstick we all know and love. It's always wonderful, but... Wait. What is Chuck doing?
No, don't make me climb. Don't make me climb. These aren't my tree climbing shoes.
I also can't help but notice Bobby is in the background frisking another one of the security guards. And at one point, Chuck says Bobby even asks him for his ID every day.
You might as well go ahead and show him some kind of ID, Miss Sparrow. I have to, and I'm his brother.
How did Bobby get this job? I mean, they make the bank manager spread his legs. And then they drop a cage on him and shove a gun in his face. I don't think this is legal. How have they kept their jobs?
And they later put plastic in front of him and shoot at his face. Later on, they even end up teaching the bad guy how to access a gun quickly. And why are there no customers ever inside this damn bank? Bobby even becomes a spy and hides behind a damn hat stand. I love it. The issue is, I sometimes feel like Chuck and Bobby don't really work in these films because the whole charm and joy of Ernest is that he's a moron in a world filled with relatively normal people. So when you put him with other idiots, it's not nearly as fun.
Is everyone who works here a moron?
But it's just a live action cartoon and it is a lot of fun. I just love the fact that he can't even clean a floor without fucking it up.
He ends up getting electrocuted, and this could literally be the start of a DC villain's origin story. He becomes magnetic and actually gains superhuman powers.
This is ridiculous. It's amazing, and this is the very reason I love these films. It knows it's dumb, and it just has so much fun with it.
Even the filing cabinets seem to have minds of their own and try to hunt him down.
But I don't get why Ernest himself would get in so much trouble for all of the mess. The security told the boss that there was no problem, and it's their job to keep everything in order.
Ernest, this is the biggest mess you've ever made.
Well, I don't know. He's got to join the fucking army yet.
Did you hear that?
Jim Varney was such a national treasure. The character is so damn wholesome, it's impossible not to love him. The writers actually really wanted him and Charlotte to get together, but Disney stepped in and refused. The writers pointed out that in the old commercials, Ernest actually does reference having a wife a few times, but Disney refused to allow the character to actually be capable of finding a love interest.
Just as friends, right?
Oh, P.T. Why can't Ernest ever get a girlfriend?
Well, I suggest you bring your willpower, young woman. Be forewarned, the world charm is merciless.
I mean, he's right. How can anyone not love him? Not in a homosexual way, if that's what you're thinking.
You not together?
No.
On our own? It turns out Ernest has all of the exact same clothes, and he even says one of them is too formal for dinner. This guy's inventions would make Pee Wee Herman jealous.
Why doesn't he sell these? He could make millions. Why is he cleaning a bank? I do like the little Easter egg that he has Vern's bubble bath, though. Seriously, look at his house. How is he working as a janitor? He could be a millionaire with this shit. He even gets so excited just to do jury duty. He's such a wholesome guy, looking for the good in everything.
And like always, Ernest has some hilarious lines.
I mean the opportunity to decide right or wrong, good or evil, regular or unleaded.
These proceedings will reconvene tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Dracup Correctional Facility.
Oh boy, a field trip.
Eat greaseball.
I didn't order greaseball.
If you know what's good for you, you'll play ball.
Oh, great. What position? But I'm not Nash. I'm Ernest. And what is an Ernest, you might ask? I've been vandalized by Elvis.
We get a dinner scene where Ernest tries to hide his newfound superpowers, which is quite funny, and...
Ernest, this is fun.
Jesus Christ, Rob! I think we're reviewing this on the wrong channel. This should be on fucking Seeking Answers.
Subscribe now. Know what I mean? The funny thing is, this was actually kind of an accident. They tried using a fishing line into the door frame, but it kept messing up, so they had no choice but to do it the old-fashioned way, and they slingshotted the knife over. This was the first and only take, and the actor's reaction of pure fear was completely real.
This is God.
Look, he can't even sit in a jury without messing it up.
Well, this scene is perfect. He chews a pen and it cracks in his mouth, and he's trying desperately to get rid of it without drawing too much attention to himself. I mean, he shoves paper in his mouth, which only makes things worse. It's hilarious!
You can see the judge trying desperately not to laugh as well.
But why is Ruben trying to do his best Mr. T impression? I pity the fool who tries to shock me.
What's hilarious is that Ernest doesn't even realise he's in jail at first. It's brilliant.
He even gave us these nifty workout clothes. Boy, I love jury duty, don't you?
He continues to merrily eat his food, completely oblivious. But once he realises, it is actually quite sad and emotional. Poor Ernest!
When you were in there talking to Mr. Pendle-Smythe, it was as if you were a whole different person.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that I'm proud of you.
Rob? I'm so proud of you for getting all these videos out.
Are you trying to queer me up?
It turns out Ernest has a doppelganger in a nearby prison called Mr. Nash.
Kevin Nash?
No, Robbie. See, this Mr. Nash, he had a lot more authority.
Can he walk without tearing a quad?
I believe so.
Lyle, see if you can help Eddie with his attitude.
So, Lyle is going to drop some balls onto his balls because he didn't have the cash to pay Mr. Nash. Why didn't this guy just stop working out? You left yourself completely vulnerable. This is your fault, buddy.
Jim Varney actually gives a great performance as the evil Mr. Nash. It is such a treat for him to show us how much more serious he can actually be.
Oh, he's such an evil bastard. I hate him so much. He's such a dickhead.
But the entire setup is ridiculous, and I love it.
They realise Ernest, who just happens to live in the same area and just so happens to be a double for Nash. So they wait for him to show up again for the jury duty.
Why? Because there is no...
I don't care. It's hilarious.
They then call him over, knock him out without anyone realising, and switch the two of them around. How would this ever happen?
Hey, you.
Behind me?
Come here.
Seriously, how would this ever actually happen in the real world? It doesn't make any sense. Where's your hat gone?
I'm just trying something new.
Oh. What's up with your voice?
I got a little laryngitis.
Okay.
Why does Lyle here look like he's trying to make us shit?
The plot is so forced and contrived that I love it anyway. It's what makes it so damn charming. I mean, considering how popular Nash is as a criminal, how did nobody else in the courtroom clock that Ernest looks exactly like him?
I look nothing like that ass clown.
What?
What? Nothing.
Oh, I don't think our table has any steak sauce.
They don't serve steak sauce, you idiot.
Pete, are you okay?
If you need further proof, the guy's a moron. He has to bang his head against the bars just to blur his vision so they can see that it's Lyle.
It is pretty funny that Nash has managed to intimidate the jury enough to convince them he's innocent, and even the judge is like, are you sure? Almost immediately, Chuck and Bobby realise that something is wrong, and it is actually quite suspenseful as Nash begins to get scared.
I mean, look, he doesn't look scared.
I mean, it's a fresh take on the series. It's not only Ernest who's a complete moron in this one. How does nobody realise it's not him? I mean, you've got a doppelganger who's clearly a different person right next to you and you don't even realise. You up, Pete?
You alright?
But why would Nash just take over Ernest's life instead of just running away? He literally pretends to do his job, lives in his home, tries to steal his girlfriend, he even redecorates his entire house. You're free, just run!
Maybe he had a good reason. Eventually, they convince Ernest to play along, so we get some Jim Varney impressions.
This guy Nash, he's a tough guy, right? He's a gangster. Okay, how about this? You dirty rat.
I don't sound like that.
What?
What?
There is a pretty funny moment where Ernest, who is trying to pretend to be this evil, hardened criminal, tricks someone with something being on their shirt. And I love that they're able to build this massive-ass catapult without anybody noticing or questioning it. We also get Ernest in all of his costumes, but my question is this. If he can do all of this, why can't he just escape?
Because he's a moron. That's why.
Don't you like Ernest?
Yes. Lyle proves that he's a backstabbing son of a bitch, as he's taken a liking to Ernest and is genuinely upset that he's going to get the death penalty.
But it truly is a sad scene when Ernest believes he's getting out soon and doesn't understand that he's about to be executed. It's a testament to Jim Varney's talent, because when he finds out, it's hilarious. But then it suddenly turns tragic and emotional, and it's so sad. The dramatic acting from Varney is insane. He was such a great talent. And it's quite weird that there's practically an attempted rape scene in an Ernest movie. But what truly solidifies Nash as this evil piece of shit, he puts Rimshot in the bin.
What kind of a person would throw away a perfectly good doll?
Blindfold or something?
No, I'm afraid of the dark and
Ah, the Green Mile ripped off Ernest.
cigarettes will kill you.
Well, this hasn't aged very well. Rest in peace, Jim.
Of course, this moron doesn't die. He actually gains superpowers and escapes.
It's so ridiculously over the top, I love it. It's another Ernest film that just isn't afraid to be dark. It's practically a Frankenstein movie at this point. He takes out all of the guards with his powers, yet Ernest P. Worrell about to join the fucking Avengers. It knows it's cheesy, it knows it's silly and goofy, and it doesn't give a fuck. The effects are lame, but it works for the style of the film. And Lyle really is a hero and a likeable character, sticking up for Ernest and helping him to get out.
Nobody has ever escaped this facility since I've been the warden.
Well, except for Nash.
Ernest also got outside several times and very nearly escaped earlier.
And now Ernest.
Idiot. Okay, I don't find Chuck that funny in this film, but his reaction to seeing Nash and Ernest together is pretty classic. And the special effects of two Jim Varneys is actually really good.
I can't believe I was fooled by that man.
I sensed it immediately.
Okay, he does make up for it at the end. The body double work is done so well here. Honestly, I can't praise Varney's performance as Nash enough. He's so evil and fries his ass. Okay, the green screen's a bit shit. And then it becomes the Looney Tunes again with such dated effects, but it's Ernest, so it's entirely fine. But I'm pretty sure the bomb only had 4 minutes left on it, and they have definitely been fighting for at least 5 and talking for 5 before that. In fact, why did Nash even come back if the bomb was gonna blow?
Hey.
How does he do that? Ernest literally grabs the bomb, flies through the ceiling into space, and okay, the warden's reaction is fucking hilarious.
Get in the way.
And he blows up, which is actually quite sad, as he was just so lovable.
No, he wasn't.
The original script actually had Ernest be electrocuted underneath a shelf with some Miracle Grow plant food, which caused him to grow into a giant. But Disney felt this would have been far too expensive, and they'd end up doing that in a few years' time for Honey, I Blew Up the Kid anyway. But honestly, I love this one far too much to care.
Well, it's been here, all right? Recognize his work.
Ernest saved us, Mr. Pendle Smythe. He saved your stupid bank and all your stupid money. Ernest wasn't a thief, he was a hero.
Well, maybe you're right.
That took a lot of convincing.
To top it all off, Ernest somehow survives and lands back down to stop Nash. So, I'm dying to ask, what do you think of Nash?
Oh, he was such a prick.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass.
CV, he's our man. If he can't do it, I guess I gotta fucking do it. Val! CV!
Yeah, how about a little...
Miak!
Miak? Miak! Authentic Bulgarian Miak. I bet you never thought I could find any this time of year. Well, I guess I'm a little too resourceful for you. A little bit too light on my feet. Now, eat Miak and die!
So, apart from Jim Varney, my other two favourites are Bobby and Lyle. I wish Bobby was my granddad. I wish Lyle was my, Pen pal? I mean, the Ernest films, they're so underrated. They are so funny. This film came out when I was just 2. I remember my family having the VHS of it, and then when I'd get older, I'd sit watching it on repeat, laughing my ass off. And I'm still laughing my ass off to this day. What a fucking amazing movie.
It's so much fun. It's silly, goofy, and cheesy, but it also has some dark and emotional moments too. It's everything you could ask for in an Ernest film. As far as the first 4 goes, it's not the best one, but hey, second place is nothing to sneeze at.
As if I did that dialogue in one take. The longest line I've had all day.